Is Russia helping China prepare to seize Taiwan? Well, according to the Royal United Services Institute, yeah, they are. China has been signaling it wants to take Taiwan by 2027. Xi Jinping has told his army to be ready to take Taiwan by then. They are building the landing ships. It's going to happen. But doing so would be extremely difficult, especially the landing and securing of key airfields. And you take a look at Russia and Ukraine. Russia and Ukraine share a land border, and Russia still has trouble getting supplies over to Ukraine. Now imagine you add a sea on top of that. It makes it even harder. But according to Rusi, it looks like Russia might be stepping in to help. So what does that help look like? What does it mean for the region? Let's break it down. By the way, I have my suitcases here. I'm leaving tomorrow to do a video about how the Air Force fights fires on the flight line. So I get to live my childhood fantasy of becoming a firefighter, right? One of the neat parts about this job, I just went to Mountain Warfare School in Vermont. I learned how to fly a helicopter at Fort Rucker. I'm living the dream. The dream is expensive. These videos cost about $4,000 to make. So if you got $5, go to ryanmcbeth.substack.com, become a paid member of my Substack there. That really, really helps fund these videos because I do not make it back on advertising, believe me. But I will try to push this out of the way so I can use my hands here. Now, let's talk about the actual article from Rusi. According to the contracts correspondence obtained by the Black Moon hacktivist group, Russia agreed in 2023 to supply the People's Liberation Army with a complete set of weapons and equipment for an airborne battalion, as well as other special equipment necessary for airborne infiltration of special forces, doing so with a full cycle of training for operators and technical personnel to use this equipment. Now, Rusi is not some fly-by-night organization. They are a well-respected research institution. They wouldn't publish something like this if they didn't think it was valid. We've been calling China's military near peer for a while now, and I think we need to drop the near. They are essentially a peer competitor right now, and we need to start thinking like that. And I know a lot of people might say, well, they haven't fought a war since 1979. Yeah, but we haven't fought a war since 2003. If you want to get technical. Our last large-scale combat operation was Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2003, and ever since then, we did COIN, we did counterinsurgency. And yes, there are some similarities in leadership and logistics between counterinsurgency and LSCO, or large-scale combat operations, but we spent 20 years teaching people how to search for improvised explosive devices. We spent 20 years teaching people how to negotiate with tribal elders. And all the people who were in the global war on terror have essentially retired by now. They've retired, they've moved on to different positions. So if you want to get technical, the US and China, while there might be more institutional knowledge in the US, we're relatively at the same level regarding LSCO operations. Now, after the initial Iraqi invasion, we had a hell of a long logistical tail. And we're really good at getting stuff across the ocean. China has never really done that before, although they do logistically supply most of the consumer goods in the world. But that being said, amphibious landings are a lot different than moving televisions over to the port of Long Beach. China's challenge here is logistical. Amphibious landings are controlled by beach gradients, soil strength. If you hit the beach, will your tank sink into the sand? And there's lots of predictable landing zones around Taiwan. Taiwan's defenders will fight hard to deny ports and runways. The key to success may not be in the sea, but in the air, inserting forces in airborne and air assault operations. But dropping light troops alone won't cut it. They will get cut to pieces. Without armor or artillery support, they will struggle to hold ground. In order to actually perform an operation like this, you need to drop troops and their vehicles near critical infrastructure. The PLA, the People's Liberation Army, doesn't yet have robust experience with that scale of airborne operations. And like we saw at Hostomel Airport in Ukraine, Russia has that capability to perform an airborne operation. At least they did back when the war started in February of 2022. And even then, Russia was badly mauled. Airborne operations are hard. But Russia at least knows how to do them. And according to these leaked contracts and verifications, in 2023, Russia agreed to supply China with a full airborne battalion's worth of kit and training. And here's what this deal includes. Armored vehicles, 37 BMD-4M amphibious assault vehicles, 12 anti-tank guns, 11 BTR MDM airborne personnel carriers, plus command, reconnaissance, and communication systems. You need that stuff. Plus parachute systems that can drop 190 kilogram loads from up to 32,000 feet. And so these things have ranges of 30 to 80 kilometers, so you can drop special forces dudes and their equipment far away and have them glide into the target. Also involves training and transfer. We're talking about Russian instructors who will train their Chinese crews, and China will host maintenance and repair centers. All technical documentation is being shared, enabling local production in the future. We're talking about like software integration, right? China needs to be able to take these vehicles, integrate their software in with their battlefield management systems. So essentially, it's not about selling equipment, it's about handing over this operational know-how and industrial capacity. Now, I don't think that China would actually use these vehicles in an actual invasion. It's more likely to just kind of experiment to see what works. And that isn't uncommon. The United States did something similar when they borrowed Marine Corps LAVs to see if they could turn them into like air-droppable armored vehicles back in 2017. But this cooperation marks a shift. Russia historically guarded its military-grade tech from China, but now Russia probably needs the money, and also funding Chinese support for attacking Taiwan kind of takes some of the eyes off the Ukraine conflict. Now, what does this mean militarily? I mean, with air maneuver options, China gains flexibility. It can insert forces across more dispersed points. It can avoid checkpoints, threaten key runways or infrastructure. If air defenses in Taiwan are suppressed, airborne assaults become a force multiplier. But there's limits. The People's Liberation Army Air Force has fewer transport aircraft. It's going to be very difficult to move a battalion in one go. The value lies in training, doctrine, and building that capability over time. And regionally, this could kind of change the calculus. The United States and its allied defenses can no longer assume that China's only path is via sea. The possibility of over-the-horizon airborne operations is a lot more real now, although it's still going to be difficult for China to pull it off. But this partnership with Russia gives China a leg up on the capability gap that it has long tried to fill. It doesn't guarantee success at all, but Taiwan and its allies are going to reposition and they're going to fight back, but it is a serious shift in China's strategic options. And hey, if you like the videos that I do, head on over to ryanmcbeth.substack.com, become a paid member. It's only $5, dude. $5 for all this amazing content, ad-free, plus you get to support my adventures going places where I teach you awesome stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching.
In a world where fashion meets firepower, where style becomes strategy, it's time to gear up for the ultimate mission with Bunker Branding. Introducing the Rock Out With Your Chalk Out t-shirt, a tribute to the fearless air cavalry. Feel the adrenaline rush as you don the pride of the skies. For those of you who dare from the air, precision and power unite when you think outside the bomb. And don't miss our Live, Laugh, Launch t-shirts for Patriot and HIMARS, because sometimes defending freedom means bringing the thunder. Finally, for the true defender of the seas, we present Department of the Boat People. Sail with honor and show your allegiance to the world's mightiest maritime force. With these shirts, hoodies, and stickers, along with the tow missile, landmines, and drone warfare. These aren't just shirts, they're statements. They're your way of saying I stand for strength, unity, and style. Get yours at Bunker Branding today.